At the beginning of the movie, we are introduced to Don Champagne and his slightly uptight wife, Mona. The woman is passive-aggressive about household chores and promises her children that if they don't stop fighting over the set-top box, she'll have to break it. Among other things, Mona keeps her perfect diary, where all her plans and desires for life are written down. A woman writes down in a diary her diet, requirements for an ideal husband, children, the layout of her house, garden, and much, much more. Every aspect of Mona's life is kept strictly by this almanac. Meanwhile, Don, who works at a furniture firm, is chatting with his partner and friend Les about a new order. The hero meets Dusty, who has come for a job interview. The pretty girl charms Don, and he almost agrees to give her a job. Les asks him not to think for a long time, because such a beauty will be a treat for the eyes in their office. After listening to the arguments of his friend, the hero realizes that Dusty will get a place in the firm. Back home, Don immerses himself in the idealized world of Mona, who cleans everything in the kitchen with a small brush. The wife informs the hero that her parents are due to arrive for the birthday of her son, Andrew, so the man should mow the lawn. Don is angry at this suggestion, but decides not to argue and just leaves. Before going to bed, Mona reviews her diary of plans, while her husband persistently hints at night games. However, the woman reminds him that they must proceed strictly on schedule, then goes to bed. The next day at work, Don is chatting amiably with Dusty and realizes that his sympathy is mutual. At dinner, Mona checks Andrew's progress in French, but everything turns out to be rather poor. However, Allison understands the language perfectly, for which her mother praises the girl and asks her to study with her brother. The next day, Mona and the children go to Don's workplace. Her movements are closely followed by strange men of semi-marginal appearance, members of the gang of local authority Murphy. Apparently, the Champagne family arouses their wild envy and desire for revenge. Mona sees Dusty and criticizes her outfit, but Don manages to get out of it by inventing that the girl is good at attracting new clients. After a hard day's work, the woman offers the hero to relax, to which he responds extremely favorably. However, Mona informs him that she has included this in the plan, and they will be able to do a pleasant affair only at home. This angers Don, and he begins to accuse his wife of being too cold and wanting to follow instructions in everything. The couple argues, and Mona asks the man not to come home. However, the hero does not have to be sad for long. In the morning, he is awakened by a charming beauty, Dusty, who says that Mona is wrong to refuse such a man and a night with him. Don tries to stop the girl, but then decides to give in to his feelings. During the day, Dusty again insistently pesters the hero, and he finally gives up, forgetting about his wife and children. Don's life is filled with new colors thanks to his mistress. The man becomes more active, plays sports, and communicates with his family, and at work, he has fun with the pretty Dusty. Andrew's birthday party is coming up. Mona communicates with Dusty, who then finds time to be alone with the hero. The girl tells Don about her pregnancy and wants to keep the baby. The man tells about his trouble to Fox, who advises him to honestly confess to cheating on his wife in order to decide what to do next and not to lose the store. In addition, the buddies decide to pay off Dusty, offering her $13,000. Meanwhile, Murphy, who, as it turns out, is her lover, visits the girl. The next day at work, Don offers Dusty money. In addition, the man pleads that his wife should not guess anything. Dusty cries, believing that she is being perceived as a girl of easy virtue. Liz no longer believes that their friend is actually pregnant, but Don is afraid that Mona will find out about everything and is not willing to take any chances. The friend is sure that the only way to avoid it now, or in 10 years, is to tell everything to his wife. Don accepts the advice and decides to follow it. Before going to bed, the hero makes a conversation with Mona from afar and confesses to cheating. Having learned the truth, the woman does not say a word and leaves the bedroom, after which she returns with a diary of plans. Don swears he doesn't want a divorce and it was just a terrible mistake. Mona calms down when she learns that the hero is still ready to realize the plans of the family according to the diary. The woman is convinced that the only way to solve everything is to eliminate Dusty herself. Don laughs, thinking Mona is joking, but the woman insists she's being completely serious. The hero cries and swears he's willing to do anything but that. Meanwhile, Dusty talks to Murphy, and it turns out that they are accomplices, and specifically came up with this plan to get even with the Champagne family and make more money off of them. The girl insists that $13,000 is all the hero has. Murphy advises not to think and not to argue with the man because it cost him a lot to introduce Dusty into the elite society, so also had to literally sell his passion to another man. Meanwhile, Mona gets mad because of her husband's refusal and demands that he fix everything because her family gave him a sea of opportunities. Dusty calls the hero and informs him that she agrees not to tell anyone anything for $25,000. Hearing this, Mona again asks what Don intends to do about the problem. The next day, the woman prepares a small cocktail of sleeping pills for Dusty and takes a promise from her husband that he will give it to the girl. The hero asks why Mona is so calm, which pisses her off. In the evening, Don meets with Dusty and lies that he will give her the money right away. Instead, the hero proposes a toast and gives the girl a whiskey with stirred sleeping pills. Dusty is visibly in a hurry and therefore drinks his cocktail in one gulp. Don desperately waits for the girl to pass out, and soon she does. Mona appears and orders the girl to be put in the trunk and looks very pleased with herself. While Don cries and is frightened by Dusty's movements, his wife openly enjoys what is happening and asks him to bring her a hammer. Mona says that the hero has failed in his task and must now finish what he started on his own to save the family from horror and censure. A weeping Don asks to change the method of payback, at which point his wife decides to do it all herself. When the hero opens the trunk, Mona destroys her rival with a smile. A thunderstorm begins, and Murphy grudgingly and impatiently awaits Dusty's return. A partner named Freeman asks him to take it easy and hopes that the girl's phone is just dead. Murphy laughs and says that the illegal substances have made him paranoid and he can't believe such simple explanations. Freeman again tries to calm his buddy down, but Murphy senses that the Champagne family is somehow involved. Meanwhile, Don runs to the bathroom, feeling that what he has seen has shaken his psyche and health. Mona, on the other hand, behaves absolutely calmly and, putting on a medical gown, gets to work. The woman manages her task and informs him that they will need a lot of garbage bags. Don has no time to come to his senses when he has a new case. Mona decides that Dusty needs to hide in the garden, so the hero will need a shovel. In addition, the man learns that his mistress was not pregnant. The next day, Fox arrives at work, and Murphy and his buddies take advantage of this to break into Don's store. Arriving at the office, the hero sees his friend being questioned by the police. Fox tells Don that he was attacked. The police officer reports that the attackers didn't take anything, which is extremely strange. In addition, the man tells him that unknown assailants set fire to Dusty's car not too long ago, but luckily there was no inside. Don tries to behave naturally, although he is visibly nervous after hearing about the incident. The hero calls his wife and finds out that she was the one who messed up Dusty's car because she saw such a thing on the show. Back home, Don notices Murphy interacting with Sun, which scares him a lot. The hero receives an envelope from Andrew that the man in the car asked him to hand over. Inside is a picture of Mona and a note with the address and time. In the evening, Don tells his wife about everything and worries that Dusty was working with accomplices. Mona is only amused by this, and she offers to visit the girl's house to destroy her friends who dared to threaten the Champagne family. Before that, Don does meet Murphy at the club. Along with him, Freeman and Benji are also there. Murphy offers a deal after learning that Dusty supposedly escaped to Dallas, according to which he gets $20,000 from Don, or else his whole family will have a hard time. Upon hearing this, Mona says they'll have to dig up the girl and implement a new plan. In the evening, Don puts on a Zorro mask and is going to figure it all out himself. However, Mona thinks he's not ready and goes into the house alone. A woman is hiding Dusty in the freezer when Freeman and his girlfriend unexpectedly enter the house. Don tries to warn his wife, but realizes that the phone was left in the car. Mona tries to stealthily sneak to the exit, while the hero decides how to help her. Don shows up at the house already after his wife destroys Freeman and his girlfriend. The man manages to call Murphy and tell him what happened. Meanwhile, Mona calls the police and goes home, where Don removes all the evidence. When Murphy arrives at the scene, he can't believe what happened, and Benji becomes hysterical when he learns that it is the work of the furniture maker's wife. Suddenly, the police show up and try to take over the building. Murphy realizes that it is a trap, and only he manages to get out alive. A police officer tells Don that Dusty and those involved in her case have been caught. The hero lies that he only met with Murphy to give him a ransom for his silence, and the man believes it, promising not to tell Mona anything. The woman, meanwhile, is angry at the neighbor's dog and promises that was the last time she went unpunished. Don tries to find out from his wife if her parents were too hard on her as a child. In response, Mona cries and promises that if the hero ever suggests something like that again, he will have to repeat the fate of Dusty and Freeman. The next day, during the party, Don discovers a neighbor's dog in the freezer. Meanwhile, Mona does not behave very adequately, is rude to Fox and his wife, after which she aggressively rejoices in the smashing of the piñata. Don realizes he can't go on living like this and sets a trap for the woman in the garage. After the tragedy with Mona, the man gathers his children and decides to leave the place where he has experienced so many terrible events. However, he is followed by Murphy, and at the end of the movie there is a terrible sound, by which it becomes clear that Don has suffered the fate of his wife. This is the end of the movie. Thank you all for watching this video to the end. Give this video a like. Write in the comments what you think about this movie, and see you in new videos.